Hi there, and welcome to the Daily Groove's first podcast. I'm Danielle, and I'm your host, and I've got John joining me as well. And tonight we're going to be talking about probably one of the most asked questions we get on the Daily Groove, which is how does gaming affect us physically, mentally? How does gaming as a family work? And basically, how do we feel about it? So, without further ado, it's actually a Jew.
Jew.
I'm going to stop that.
There's no Jews on this podcast. Oh, you could have left that. It's
Oh, I
fine.
haven't
Just
stopped it.
leave it.
Shall I
Just
just
leave
leave
it.
it?
It doesn't
Okay.
matter.
Without
Christ,
further
there's going to be a
ado,
lot of. There's going to be a lot of those. I would have thought,
I think there is going to be loads of those as well.
but there are no Jews. I
No,
don't think on this
no,
podcast.
no, I don't think so. So, yeah, we're going to explore the joys, challenges, and impacts of gaming together as a family, and the effects it has on all of us. So, welcome. I hope we're going to raise some good questions and hopefully give you some ideas on how we feel it actually does help us as a family to bond, have fun, and learn things together. I think it's been a significant part of our family since COVID, especially. I think with their age groups coming into COVID, we played Fortnite and squad games, and we had a lot of Mallory's friends joining us playing. And I think that played a big impact with how much gaming we did as a family over these last few years. What do you think?
What is that? What's the first point of call? What are you asking me? Sorry. What do I think about gaming in as a family in terms of what we've done in the last few years? Because I've gamed since I can remember. It was,
Yeah, but this
some of the
podcast
first memories I've got.
was specifically about gaming as a family, and I just raised that point, hadn't I, about that
You've got
we
to give me a little bit more to work with.
well,
Some
no,
some
I just
just
said that through COVID, with their age range, that we started gaming loads, playing Fortnite as a squad, and basically creating those unique ways of having a bond, having fun while doing
yeah, we did.
things. You know,
Yeah,
on
we did. We
and we
played.
played with loads of Mallory's friends. It allowed Stanley to have peer-to-peer contact with like other children, generating like bonds and yeah, just
Yeah,
interactions with those kids. And that's probably how we started gaming as a family, which is what the name of this podcast is, not how John Thwaites started his
no,
gaming career.
look, I was led to believe that you had some points that we were going to work through, and you're going to put questions to me because I intentionally didn't have any
Did I not just put a
large
question to
agendas.
you?
You did. So from the COVID side of things, there's no doubt that there was a big opportunity for everyone because everyone was stuck in their own homes. Weren't seeing anyone. So for everybody, that was a big outlet for people to socialize and to speak to people, have a laugh, hear people's voices, and actually get some human connection. Which I mean, COVID changed everyone forever. Even today in 2025, we're seeing COVID, the remnants of COVID, and how it affected us all. So so yeah, the gaming part of it gave people the chance to see and speak to friends and socialize and have a laugh. Mallory was very lucky that she had parents that had the technology around to get her to keep seeing people. So we can say that COVID for Mal didn't affect her as badly or didn't have as negative effect on her as it did on kids that are some of the stories I hear, whether it be personally from other friends, colleagues, or stuff I see on the internet. Some kids were massively, they were traumatized by COVID, and it set them back academically, socially, by a lot. But for our kids, it didn't have that bad an effect on us because they had that outlet. So for COVID and gaming, it was a bit massive positive for our kids. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think as well, having like the other kids, I mean, speaking to a lot of the parents about gaming, especially through COVID, I think the cons that came out of gaming that other parents experienced was that it changed how aggressive their kids were, or their kids were getting far too much time on screen time, or they weren't getting out as much, and which obviously no one was because it was during COVID. And I think that that probably highlighted how addictive gaming can be for kids that haven't maybe got structure in their lives, like going off to school and everything. And I think when we started gaming and we were playing with those children, there was definitely an educational side of that. Of, for example, you drop into maps in Fortnite and you could go around and always rush to the gold boxes and get the best loot and everything. And we very much, whenever we played with those kids and our kids, we shared the loot. We made sure we worked as a team. We, navigated our way across maps. We set time aside to complete the quests, complete the battle passes. And I think sometimes there's an education side to gaming as a family that actually can enhance kids' skills. It can, I mean, the amount of time, like the positive aspects that gaming has on development of cognitive skills and strategic thinking, problem solving, quick decision making. I mean, there's nothing quicker than having to make a decision on to build a wall, edit it, and outplay someone in Fortnite.
Well, well, yeah, we've said that many times, that the whole. I mean, we're old enough to have remembered the TV era where our parents, and our parents probably certainly heard it, that their parents would have been saying, TV's going to rot your brain, it's going to destroy you. But TV, I mean, look at our parents now, they spend more time on TV than we do. Then the irony of that is that our parents are telling us that computer gaming is rotting our brain, but computer games can be far more productive and beneficial to you as an individual than watching TV.
I, yeah,
TV is brainwashing people, whether it be on the news or on TV shows that we know have got ideologies built in them that are not conducive to critical thinking, and educating. So TV is without doubt can be more damaging to your child than computer gaming, but that doesn't, and social media as well is far more corrosive than gaming. But you've got to keep an eye on it. You've got to make sure your kids are, if they're playing a game on their own and never speaking to anyone, then that's not good. But if they're talking and having banter, taking the piss out of your friends is a good thing. And so that's where there is that fine line where they are learning social skills and learning that the world isn't going to fit in completely around them, that they are going to have things that are going to be challenging, that is difficult, and it's learning that you do lose, but it's learning that you lose well, you lose productively, and that you try and win next time. You need to get involved with their game and teach them that if you lose, yes, it is frustrating, and you don't want to lose. The participation trophies that we see all the time in football and rugby, that kids, yes, Johnny turns up and he gets his trophy and everyone goes home with the trophy. That's, kids know that's fake.
I
I
know.
knew
Yeah.
from a very young age that everyone got a trophy on at the end of the season. You know when you didn't earn that trophy.
Yeah.
So gaming's the same. Lose, lose. There is nothing wrong with hating to lose and being, and thinking, I don't want this feeling again. From your golf that losing can be the best thing that can happen to you, because you
Yeah.
can turn that around and challenge it to winning and when you get that feeling of losing and then winning, that can then be transposed into exams, failing in an exam, that feeling you get
Striving to
when you
be
fail
better.
at something, and then
Strive.
thinking, I'm not going to fail
Yeah.
next time on my maths exam.
I think that's the thing, isn't it? It's I remember someone saying to me that to be a great winner, you have to be a graceful loser. And yes, okay, it's horrible to lose, but I think there's also, you've got to educate your kids how to lose respectfully as well. At the end of the day, you've not got to be laying there on the floor having a screaming fit. So there's a bit of education in losing as well. But going back to the gaming, I think that gaming can provide that common ground where family members of all different ages they can come together, collaborate, compete in a fun and engaging way, and that's whether it's a cooperative game. It requires teamwork, friendly competition, like we were just saying, and can strengthen family bonds. Whether that's actually like what we were doing over, like at the Christmas period, we played Cluedo online. We played, I think it was Outsmarted online. Card games. It doesn't have to be in front of a computer. I think games in general, and it also shows your kids your personality, having fun, doing something that's not work related. And I really do think that it has like a lot of positive effects. I think that there are obviously negatives, but for us as a family, I think the positives far outweigh the negatives. Coming in, playing games, relieving stress after a long day's work. I really look forward to getting in front of my computer and chatting to my friends. And the amount of times that I say, oh, we don't really watch much TV at our house. Like, we don't really watch TV at all. We play games, we watch YouTube, we, do bits and bobs like that. And they'll,
We don't watch
no, no, we literally, no.
any TV. The only time I watch TV is if I'm at your house, sorry, your mum's house, my mum's
Yeah.
house, or a friend's house.
Yeah. So when I
Don't
tell
watch TV anymore.
my clients, yeah, we don't watch any TV, they're like, oh my God, that's so weird. And for me, having now done a number of years not watching TV, unless, like you say, we're around my parents' house or your parents' house, I find it more moronic to come in from work, a day's work, sit, maybe not even at a dinner table, eat food in silence while staring at a screen, watching TV, clearing your plate away, waiting until that program has finished, turn the TV off because it's 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock if you're, crazy, and going straight to bed. And you've not had any experiences with your other half or your kids. All you've done is watch mindless TV together.
And by the way, don't think if you do that, don't think that we're having a go at you, because that's a lot of people's lives, because life is tough. It is stressful. You've got a lot going on. People these days have got so many worries that that escapism of a couple of episodes of a TV show, it brings people a lot of happiness. So it is difficult to get the balance. But if you do think if you think your kids are playing too much games, try and play games with them.
Yeah.
Try, watch less of the TV shows, because they are, most of them are just utter garbage.
And not
But
only
they
that,
might give you some escapism. But
yeah.
they're ideologically driven. They're propaganda. People are getting brainwashed these days by the news and TV shows. And gaming is by the way guilty. Maybe we'll do another episode on that in the future, where certain computer games developers are getting ideologically driven, and that's not good either. So all forms of media are guilty of this. But yeah, like you say, this is specifically around gaming, and
Yeah, I think
whether
it's
it's
it's a fun way to decompress. Whether we sit and play a game together, which actually most nights we do. We sit and play, specifically Hunt Showdown, but we have friends that we play Phasmophobia. We haven't played that for ages, but like
it depends
Supervibe,
on
or it depends.
price. Going back all that over the years, there's
Yeah,
been so many games now, isn't there? And it's more about, especially for you,
yeah,
you say this more than me. For you, it's more about getting around your computer with friends,
yeah.
having a social event, having a laugh, like you say, switching off, because it is relaxing and it is escapism.
Mm.
And for you, it's probably less about the game than it is maybe the boys.
Yeah, I think you're
You and
right.
yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that either, because the social side of it is a big part of it. I mean, think of the friends we've made over the years in
Mm.
all sorts of countries around the world, just
Oh
from
yeah,
gaming.
I know it's.
We've got such a wide circle of friends, um,
But
from
then
from
we've
gaming.
developed those online friendships when we're adults, and we can make responsible choices I remember that first night. I mean, that was quite funny when we met Pete and Vic going to Pete, Vic, and New and
Not
everything.
Vic.
No, Vic wasn't there actually, but
Vic wasn't
we'd
there.
been
Vic.
playing World of Warcraft, or John and I, like, specifically been playing World of Warcraft, and we met a guy called Rumsey. But he wasn't Rumsey on World of Warcraft, was he? Or was he?
He was. It was. Oh, I can see him now.
But anyway, so that
Carry
was his
on.
game
I'll
mate,
remember
his
it.
game name and everything. And we'd been playing with them for a number, or Pete in particular, a number of years. And we're talking probably they'd been playing probably for 5 years together on WoW, World of Warcraft. And it just got thrown out there.
Captain Morgan was baggy, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like thrown out
Star
there
was Laura, and then
that we
Pete
would
was.
meet up. And we were like, oh my God, that sounds amazing. Yeah, that's really good. We didn't have any children at that point. And on our way there, John and I were starting to sort of like run past each other. This is absolutely, this is like the sort of stuff you read in papers. Oh my God, we're going to go to someone's house, they're going to murder us, and then it's going to be in the paper. This stupid young couple that had been streaming got lured to a house and murdered.
Streaming back then.
No, we weren't streaming yet. We were just playing games.
Gaming.
Just gaming. And we were really nervous. And I remember knocking on their door, and they opened the door and we were like, "You're not going to kill us, are you?" And they were like, "We were saying the same thing." And it was really strange. But, after 5 years of talking to someone pretty much daily, you kind of feel like you really do know them.
No way we'd gamed with them for 5 years before we met them. It was way less than that.
Oh, well, anyway.
I think it was within a year. But yeah, either way, feel like you get to know someone, and whether or not they're weirdos or not. But
so there is the downside of gaming with a family when you feel like actually they can come in contact with strangers in the big wide world. But I think one of the primary concerns that parents have is the excessive screen time, the addictive nature that gaming has. It could lead to like a sedentary lifestyle, negatively impacting their physical health. And it is crucial to balance that gaming with other physical activities, but it's also kind of where the world is going. I mean, right at the moment while we're doing this podcast, we've got Mallory upstairs. She's playing on Roblox. She's chatting to her best mate, who's probably, I think they're with about 6 other friends that they see in real life, but they're playing and chatting and running around and creating houses and this, that, and the other. So there is a risk, and I think it's so important as parents to highlight those risks to kids. And if they start to feel like they're, Mallory's really good at that, actually. She's really good at being aware of when she's,
because we drum it
yeah,
to a
if she's
constant rate.
feeling a little bit down, or she's feeling sluggish, or she's like maybe a little bit snappy, and we're like, oh my God, what's wrong with you? You can kind of should be like, right, I need to go and do something, or I need to get out, or
feel it ourselves as well.
Yeah.
I certainly am aware of it.
yeah.
You've sort of meandered there into the mental health side of it, how it can affect you personally. I thought you were going to change direction into safety.
No, we'd kind of like, I think safety and being aware.
But the safety thing, sorry, just on that, is because the problem with the gaming side, and this is actually an incredibly broad point, in that it's absent parenting that's the overarching problem. If you're not having any input and guidance on your child, it doesn't matter whether they're gaming or not, that's where the problems will come. You've got to be engaged and having an input, and just being there for them. And it is a difficult balance, and you're always going to feel like you fail. That's an important thing as a parent. You're going to feel like you failed either way. And kind of in a way, it was a famous quote, wasn't there, that a good parent will always fail, because if you overprotect them too much, you fail them, because you've not raised a child that's ready for the world. But if you don't have anything to do with them, you'll also fail them, because there is, your parents, you do have wisdom because you've been there and done it in some respects. So there is a balance. You've always got to let them go a bit, and they have to make their own mistakes, and they've got to fail. But just try and get involved to some extent. But you're the mum or dad, so you're not cool, and they're never going to think you're cool anyway. But you've just got to try and get involved in some respects, because there will be times when, I mean, Mallory, although she's pretty streetwise, and pretty good, she is still very naive. Some of the things she says and thinks that she thinks she's on the ball on that she isn't.
Yeah, no,
So
absolutely.
just don't try and you know if you definitely know if you're not having enough of an input. So if you're aware of that, just get a bit stick your nose in a bit more.
Yeah.
Um,
I think it's
yeah.
like, I think it's for us, we've definitely fostered that positive gaming environment. You know, they've got a nice place to game, they've got a good setup. There's not going to be any sort of frustration with their setup. They can play whatever game they really want, to be totally honest with you, and talk to whoever they want, not whoever they want, because we've made it quite clear that we really want them only talking to the people that they know in real life.
Yeah, we definitely don't shelter them. We've told Mallory on certain terms there are some sick, dangerous people out there, whether they be someone up the shops by the train station or on
Mm,
Roblox.
yeah.
She's very aware because you can't if you shelter your kids too much and
Mm,
they're just not aware of the dangers of the real world, then they're going to make all sorts of mistakes. So,
yeah.
but you also don't want to terrify them too much that they don't even want to ever try and you know
No.
go out of the comfort zone. So make them aware that there are some sick, dangerous people out there, and they can be, yeah, aware of it a bit more, and because there are.
So I think in this podcast we have covered how we feel about gaming as a family, the positives, the negatives. For us, the positives of gaming within a family that all game, having a bit of structure and education on how to be a good gamer, I think has been really important for us. For Stanley,
I can be a bad gamer.
yeah,
I,
yeah,
I'm, I, I'm, a, I'm, I definitely hate losing, and I
yeah.
can.
He's not toxic. He's not toxic to other players. He just gets so frustrated pretty much with like me a little bit, but mainly at himself. But what this was actually the final point I wanted to make actually was how I feel that Stanley's like fine motor skills have improved, and how fine motor skills can be improved with I'm thinking
Oh
about
God,
like
yeah.
Dead by Daylight, right, when
Mm,
you're repairing that generator and you've got to look at when the little dial's going round and he's got to press the space button. Okay, he's
well,
useless at it,
but
but the hand-eye coordination.
this is something that I thought we could have explored more at the very beginning. There is actually a lot of data out there now. Surgeons,
Yes, yeah, yeah.
surgeons that do computer games because it involves hand-eye coordination
Mm,
and responsiveness and reaction times, and obviously
yeah,
you're seeing something in your then hands you because your left hand is doing something independent to its right hand.
yeah.
Surgeons that computer game have 21% higher accuracy than their fellow surgeons that don't.
I mean, that's
The
incredible.
data's out there on that. And that makes complete sense as well. That doesn't surprise that wouldn't surprise anyone to hear that,
No, it
because
wouldn't, but
you are training yourself.
it doesn't when you're saying it, it doesn't surprise me, but I think it will surprise people because I don't think people associate the left right side doing independent things as a life skill. It's just people play a game and it's like you're a gamer. you, you know, I don't think they understand that hand-eye
Mm.
coordination, and like I said, you know, that quick cognitive thinking, strategic
And
thinking
yeah,
is
exactly.
so
I'm in this
important.
situation. Do I
Yeah.
reload my gun? Do I heal? Do I peek? Do I
Relocate.
hide? Where do I?
Yeah.
Yeah, all of these things are definitely good towards training your brain to think quicker. Um, and don't think that's irrelevant, because when you're in the workplace, sometimes, certainly in my job, when the shits hit the fan, it is stressful, and you do need to compartmentalize it, and you almost need to slow time down a bit and think, critically, and do things. So these sort of skills will help them in the workplace. Depending on what, I mean, they might not, some of them might go into military situations, but some of them might. I mean, I work in IT, and there are certainly times when you've got to think quick, you've got to evaluate a number of different things, and and people that can deal with those pressure situations are more productive and will achieve more than someone that isn't used to it and that just gets stressful, throws everything up in the air. Oh, I can't handle this. I need to, you
Mm.
know, I see it in my own environment sometimes. There are some people that deal with stress better than others,
Yeah.
and gaming can certainly improve that skill.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think we've probably covered everything we need to in terms of family gaming, and there's definitely areas that we might end up doing another podcast for. So, for us, gaming as a family is wonderful. It's a great way to bond, have fun, develop valuable skills. It's nice to set healthy boundaries and foster a positive gaming environment that families can enjoy and benefit the gaming while minimizing the potential downsides. I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you've enjoyed this podcast with the Daily Groove. And until next time, keep gaming, stay balanced, get outside more, and cherish those special moments
Stay
together.
outside as well.
Yeah, enjoy. Anyway, guys, thanks very much. And we will see you soon.